I thought I'd found the perfect coat, until Gran Betty made me choose what to lose, and I nearly made a £180 mistake. The strange part is, I don't even remember deciding to buy it. One minute I was just scrolling, not even looking for anything. The next it was in my basket. Then it was ordered. No pause, no second thought. Just that quiet little confirmation and the feeling that I'd done something productive. That's how it gets you now. It doesn't feel like spending. It feels like progress. Gran Betty says, "You're not shopping. You're being handled." I used to laugh when she said things like that. Thought she was being dramatic. But then I started noticing things I couldn't explain away so easily. Parcels arriving I barely remembered ordering. Clothes still in packaging weeks later. Items I was convinced I needed. Just sitting there, untouched. There are things in my wardrobe I genuinely don't remember buying. That's when it stopped being harmless. It's hard to explain the feeling unless you've had it. That moment where you're surrounded by your own decisions and none of them feel intentional. Gran Betty calls it a full house of half decisions. She didn't always explain where she got that mindset from, but one day I asked her why she's so strict about it all. Why the rules? Why the discipline? Why the refusal to just enjoy things the way everyone else does? She told me she grew up in a time when nothing was easy to replace. You didn't just get another one. You fixed things. You wore them properly. You thought before you brought something into your life because once it was there, it stayed. Back then, she said, we didn't have the luxury of being careless, and I've never trusted a system that makes carelessness easy. That stayed with me, because now, everything is easy. Too easy. The coat arrived 2 days later, and to be fair, it was beautiful. Exactly my style. Exactly what I would have picked, because it was picked for me. I hadn't even taken the packaging off properly when Gran Betty appeared in the doorway. She has this way of just arriving at the exact moment you'd rather she didn't. She looked at the coat, ran her hand along the sleeve, then glanced past me at my wardrobe. No smile, no comment, just, "Right then. Who's leaving?" That's her rule. One in, one out. No exceptions. No, just this once. She's been saying it for years, but I never followed it properly. Not really. This time she didn't move. Just stood there like the decision had already been made, and I was the only one catching up. So I opened the wardrobe. And suddenly that coat didn't feel exciting anymore. It felt expensive. Because now it wasn't just £180, it was a trade. There was my aunt's pinstriped blazer. I don't wear it often, but every time I see it, I remember her giving it to me like it mattered. Then there was my old jumper, the one's been with me through everything. Trips, long nights, difficult weeks. It's part of my life in a way the coat just isn't. I picked up a random top I barely wear, thinking I'd found a way around it. Something easy, something painless. Gran Betty didn't even look properly before she said, "Don't insult yourself. You know that's not the same league." And she was right. I was trying to cheat. "Space isn't the problem," she added. "Discipline is." I stood there longer than I'd like to admit, going back and forth, trying to justify it. It's good quality. I'll wear it loads. It was a good price. Gran Betty just listened, then said quietly, "Every bargain has a bill attached. You just haven't opened it yet." That one landed. Because I've opened those bills before. Not on paper, but in regret, in clutter, in that quiet frustration of owning something that never earned its place. She stepped closer and said, If it isn't worth a heartbreak to swap, it isn't worth the coin to keep. And just like that, the coat lost its shine. Because I didn't love it. I just wanted it. And I'd got so used to wanting things, I stopped questioning why. I actually worked it out later. If I carried on like that, just casually buying things here and there, I'd spend over £2,000 this year. And I wouldn't even remember half of what I bought. Stretch that over 5 years. That's £10,000. £10,000 for things I'd forget I even owned. That scared me more than giving up the coat, so I put it back in the box. And I expected to feel like I'd missed out. But I didn't. I felt relieved, like I'd just avoided something I usually wouldn't even notice. But here's the part I didn't expect. That wasn't the end of it. That same evening, I was back on my phone. Just scrolling. Not even thinking about it. And I saw something else. Smaller. Easier to justify. That doesn't count, I told myself. It's not expensive. And my thumb hovered. No one would even notice. That's when I heard her voice from earlier. Discipline isn't what you do once. It's what you repeat when no one's watching. So I stopped, closed the app, and sat there for a second, realizing how automatic it had all become. Not thoughtful, not intentional, just reactive. And that's when I realized this wasn't about one coat. It was a pattern. Gran Betty says, it's never about the price, it's about the pattern. So I started changing the pattern. Now everything goes through what I quietly call her test. First, what's leaving? If I can't answer that instantly, it's a no. Second, can it wait 48 hours? Because urgency is usually a trick. Third, does it beat what I already own? Not match it, not equal it, beat it. If it fails any of those, it doesn't come in. Gran Betty puts it simpler. You don't get to add without subtracting. That's how clutter and debt sneaks in. I also stopped pretending my space was flexible. No more stuffing things into corners. No more, I'll make room. My wardrobe is full when it's full. Your home isn't a warehouse, she says. It's a filter. And once you start treating it like one, something shifts. Let me ask you something. Properly. Think about the last thing you bought. Not the big one, the small one. The one you didn't think twice about. What would have had to leave your home to make room for it? Not what could go. What actually would. If you can't answer that, that purchase probably wasn't worth it. After a few weeks of doing this, I noticed something unexpected. Getting dressed became easier. Not because I had more, but because everything I owned had already passed a test. There was no second guessing. No, maybe I should have bought something else. Just decisions I stood by. And the noise, the constant thinking about what to buy next, it started to fade. I wasn't chasing that little hit anymore. I wasn't reacting. I was deciding. And that's a very different feeling, Gran Betty noticed before I said anything. Quieter, isn't it? And it was. Not just the house. My head. That coat? I didn't buy it. And weeks later, I don't even think about it anymore. Which tells me everything. Because the things that matter, you don't forget about them that quickly. Gran Betty just nodded when I told her. Good, she said. Just because you can afford it doesn't mean you should own it. I used to think this was about being strict. Now I see it differently. It's about being deliberate. It's about not letting something as small as a tap on a screen decide what fills your home and empties your account. So if you've ever looked around your space and wondered how it got so full, or checked your bank and wondered where it all went, start here. One rule: One in, one out. No excuses. And next time your finger hovers over buy now, pause. Just for a second. And ask yourself what it's replacing. If nothing comes to mind, you've got your answer. If this made you stop and think, even briefly, like this video, so more people can hear Gran Betty before their next impulse buy catches them out. Share it with someone who's always waiting for their next delivery. And subscribe, because Gran Betty has a lot more to say, and you'll want her voice in your head before you spend another £1. And don't stop here. Go and watch Gran Betty's Money Wisdom series next. That's where she shows you the habits and systems that quietly change everything over time. Because she always says, a full house and an empty purse is just a fancy way of being poor. See you in the next one.